pretty sure most of us had tried doing drugs at one point in our lives. And yes, I'm including underage drinking because alcohol does count as a drug. Anyways, if you haven't tried any drugs or plan to do any drugs, I suggest not trying drugs at all. Drug addiction is real and can be destructive financially, socially, mentally, and physically, especially to those who are underage. Most people just do it just because they want to fit in with their friends and want to look cool. I know this very well because I was one of these kinds of people who were influenced by the junkies. So around 2018, I was chatting with my homie Ollie and we were talking about a guy who was selling edibles. And if you don't know, edibles are foods that contain weed or fent. And now, I wasn't too sure if I ever wanted to try it, but after hearing about this plug selling it for $5, I was hooked. My friend Ollie knew this guy, and I asked him to get me some. A day later, I was given this brownie, and it tasted good. The smell of weed was present. And where did I decide to eat this at? I ate it in the bathroom, aka where the place is nasty, dirty, and full of niggas fighting. Nonetheless, I ate it after lunchtime. I was in math class, not feeling the effects. I thought these edibles ain't shit until I was on the bus ride home where I just felt it. I felt faded, lightheaded, like it was just out of nowhere, you know? I was sitting at the very back, staring into nothing, not even using my phone, and everything felt so odd. By the time I went home, I just went straight to sleep. As the days went on, the plug stopped selling them for some reason, and I never knew why. I assumed bro was just caught. So around junior year, Ollie, David, and I were 16, and we both wanted to do something adventurous by sneaking outside late at night and going somewhere. By the time 12 a.m. arrives, I snuck out, and my friend decided to pick me up with his mom's car that he snatched, and we went to pick up David. We went to Denny's, and we were shaking out of fear. This was Ollie's first time driving, and this was our first time sneaking out of the house late at night. Not only did we have to worry about our parents finding out, but we also had to worry about the police. After many nights of sneaking out, we got used to it. And keep in mind, we weren't sneaking out when it was the weekend. We were sneaking out on a fucking Tuesday night. We would come home around like 3 a.m. and then sleep for like 2 hours and then head straight for school. We were looking like shit most of the time because of that, and it was really fun. We were just doing fine as a trio until David decided to bring in this one girl. Her name is Sophie for this video. Now, Sophie is quite known to be a school thought, and we just knew what the fuck David was trying to do. Either way, we decided to let her in our group, as we both planned on smoking weed for the first time that night. By smoking, I mean actual smoking, not vaping or eating edibles. So the four of us decided to smoke around this one electrical box that we all used to hang out during our childhood. However, this was located at the apartments. So David bought weed and a pipe to smoke with. We were all rotating the pipe as we all took a hit. And keep in mind, this was my first time ever hitting a pipe. And my friends were shocked when they saw me chiefing that motherfucker. I took one big ass hit and I eventually coughed very hard. Few minutes passed by and I suddenly felt the loss of gravity itself. I felt super dizzy and fell on my back as I felt very ticklish. I was tweaking very fucking hard. I was laughing hard and crying at the same time. The situation felt unreal and I was shouting, "This isn't real, this isn't real," repeatedly non-stop. And this is where I passed out. I had this weird dream where I was talking to this therapist fish from that one SpongeBob episode. I don't remember what we were talking about, but then I woke up and my friends were trying to pick me up. I tried getting up as well so it can make their jobs more easier, but I was struggling. I was shoved inside Ollie's mom's van and I was just still laughing and crying. They tried to calm me down by putting some peaceful ambience music on and they shut the door while they finished smoking outside. It was one hell of an experience. My friends thought the whole "this is a real" phrase was funny and would joke about it. I still find it funny too. A few days later, Ollie told me that we should stop smoking whatever David was bringing because he told me that the weed David bought didn't smell like weed at all. It smelled like perfume, and David even admitted that it had a bit of crack in it too. Now, I can't confirm if any of that was true, but Ollie did mention that the weed does not make someone tweak the way I had tweaked. He also mentioned the fact that Sophie suggested that they should all leave me behind while I was tweaking, but Ollie and David didn't agree with the idea. Ollie and David, if you're watching this right now, you guys are the real OGs. I'm not really going to go into many details as to what we did while Sophie was with us, but I will say that we did come home feeling very high while feeling very good. Usually it's because we smoked real weed from Ollie and not from David. Around the beginning of 2020, Ollie and I began smoking by ourselves more often. This time, he got himself a wax pen and it helped us get more high easily without getting the weed smell on our clothes. It was all going well until the quarantine lockdown came in, and that made us stay home for weeks without the Zaza, at the very least for me. After the 2-week lockdown was over, we began smoking again until the Black Lives Matter riots began surfacing throughout the entire nation. In my city, the riots were happening to the point where all residents were set to a curfew, and if anyone was caught outside beyond the curfew hours, they would get arrested. Because of that, we were inside again. After the whole shenanigans was over, we began smoking again. Around March of 2021, I was hanging out with Ollie and this guy named Alex for this video. Alex was known as the popular kid amongst the Latino kids from our school. He would boast his accomplishments, and what I mean by accomplishments, I mean the type of accomplishments that he would boast about: the girls he slept with, the crimes he committed, and acted all tough, and I don't know, it's just some typical dumb nigga shit. David came back to our group, and we all began hanging out. Alex sees me as a pussy-ass nigga that can't do shit and thinks I'm one of those weakling nerds who are saints. Alex is the type of guy that would get jealous if his best friend hangs out with another guy. I say this because Ollie and I were like brothers, and Alex was nothing more than a friend to Ollie. Anyway, around this time, we began hanging out during the day, meaning that Ollie and I wouldn't have to sneak out anymore as his parents allowed him to drive. Alex was with us one day, and by this time, Ollie was dropping me off. Alex offered us these stamps that we had to put on our tongues. We were given one stamp, and I saved mine for later on. I asked them what they were, and Alex said it was LSD, or acid. Ollie advised me to take them during the weekend and late at night where no one would be disturbing me. By the time Friday night hits, I decided to take the LSD stamp and hop on Call of Duty Warzone with my other friend named Jacob, aka Medio Muerto. Medio Muerto is a childhood friend of mine, and during this time we would play a lot of Warzone. You could tell by the amount of Warzone videos I used to upload, and you would see Medio Muerto in a lot of my videos. I was playing with him one Friday night and I took the LSD stamp. After a while, I wasn't really feeling anything, and I thought the stamp lost its effect due to it being under my phone case for like days. 1 hour later, it hit. Now, if there's anything you should know about LSD that I didn't know before, it's that you shouldn't be taking the drug at all if you're like going through some hard shit in your life. Even though you shouldn't be taking LSD or any drugs for that matter, LSD can cause psychosis, loss of sleepiness, tremors, increased body temperatures, dilated pupils, wavy visions, hyperness, increased heart rate, as if you fucking ran a marathon. And there's probably more that I'm missing out, but I'm just telling you what I felt.
Oh my gosh, this bitch is not the one, guys. This bitch is not the one. Holy fuck. Why do I keep fucking sabotaging myself when it keeps ending like this? When I know it ends like this. Like, what the absolute fuck is wrong with me? God damn, bitch. Fuck. Like, what the fuck, man? Why do I keep setting myself like this? I never knew, man. I don't know.
1 hour later, after getting hit by the LSD, I decided to stop playing because I just felt like laying down in my bed and listening to music. I was listening to MF Doom, Rhymes Like Dimes, and let me tell you, when I close my eyes, I can imagine a music video being formed for that moment, and it felt really amazing and trippy. Now here is where things take a turn for the bizarre. As I was listening to music, I felt unstoppable, like I could take on the world. I began switching music from MF Doom to gore shit. And now if there's anything you should know about gore shit, is that his music is really hyper as hell. I was listening to his songs and my mind was going super crazy. I was easily influenced by the mood, and while that may sound good, that also means that you're easily influenced by terrible moods, like anger. I was messaging my friend group chat, and I was telling them about the experience. I think one of them made a joke, and I tried joking as well, but then I was full on roasting them, and I felt unstoppable, and became mad as hell. My other friend began texting me, and I began saying some schizo shit to the point where he unfriended me on Instagram, but then re-added me. I then felt confident enough to text my crush at this time, and let me tell you, that was like the biggest mistake in my goddamn life. At this time, I was in love with this chick, but I knew she didn't like me back, and for 2 years, I tried talking to her more, but she would constantly leave me undelivered many times. 2 years of pent-up frustration with her made me break down on her DMs. This is where she began concerned about me. but mostly just because of her. I don't know. Either way, I began getting angry at her, insulting her, and my mind began wanting to get physically violent. I swear to God, I feel like I can hear myself screaming inside my own head. It sounded really, really loud, and I had my music on blast too, but I wasn't actually screaming, which is the crazy part. As this goes on, I could feel the LSD kicking in more harder than usual, and I feel the voices in my head screaming. It was scary, and I needed to fight the voices, literally. Remember the part where I said, this isn't real, and I thought about it. What if I call myself with ambient music? And I tried to do that. It took a while to calm myself down, but after a while, maybe like an hour or two, I began to feel a bit more calm. Still high as hell, but I felt more reasonable than being insane without reasoning. I went to my crush's DMs and she lectured on me while telling me harsh yet truthful things about me. While they did hurt to listen, I did my best to understand, and I knew I had to cut off some people and stop doing drugs. I didn't sleep for the entire day because the LSD doesn't let you sleep. But when I did sleep, I woke up to my friends arguing. The reason behind this is because Alex was making fucked up jokes about David and his baby mama at the time. The thing is, David and his baby mama, Elena, for this video, already had a 3-month-old child. And while yes, this is a case of teen pregnancy, Alex would say something about David's baby mama like, oh, I'ma fuck yo girl. David did not take that lightly, and they argued. And Alex's only argument was, it was just a joke. After a while, Ollie, David, and I went to the park to smoke and chill, talking about life and the situation. When it was time to head home, we were already high as fuck, while it was getting dark. We were hotboxing that motherfucking car that Ollie was driving with, and I was just sitting in the back, thinking about how I shouldn't have smoked. While I'm just thinking about random shit, a police car turned on its lights and turned on its siren. I fucking freaked the fuck out very bad to the point where it freaked everyone out. See, we were turning right at an intersection, and the police car was on the left side of the intersection, about to enter the road we were turning to. Because of this, we quickly sped off, and I swear to God, I had a fucking flashback of my entire life. How I will miss my family, my parents would never see me the same again, how I will lose my freedom, how many times I have fucked up in life, the fear of getting raped in there. Dude, this flashback felt like forever, which was just only 2 seconds. After I snapped, I checked if the cop car was behind us as we just made another turn. I told Ollie to hide in the nearest neighborhood before the cop could see us, and so he did. We went super deep into a neighborhood, and we heard the cops pass this neighborhood. We were breathing heavily. Ollie and I looked at me and yelled, yo, what the fuck? Don't yell like that. What the hell, bro? That made us freak out too. Ollie made fun of my freak out, compared it to the this is a real incident, just to cheer us all up. But deep down, we were all still freaked the fuck out. David was like, bro, if they ever see us like that, bro, and they ever caught us, I'm running. I'm just like straight up running into the woods. And Ollie was like, yo, I can't really do that because this car is under my name. And while they were just talking about random shit, I looked around where we were at. I noticed that we were parked in a cul-de-sac inside a ghetto, sketchy, dark neighborhood. While we were talking, I noticed the house we were parked in front of had their blinds open. I couldn't see anything through that window as the lights were turned off. But 3 minutes later, when we were just observing our surroundings, I noticed that the same window now had their windows open, but the lights were still off. So all you saw was just pitch black. I pointed this out and they all agreed that we should get out of this neighborhood. I swear, thinking about this now, it feels scary. Ollie was driving us home, at least to my place first, and while we were driving, a lot of things just popped into my mind. What would have happened if we stayed there longer? Who was behind that window? And what if the cop finds us again? Or how I just fucking broke my crush's promise that I should cut off these kinds of people and not do drugs at all anymore. But when I got home, I showered and went to bed and decided to not hang out with those guys anymore. At the very least for a while. I had a nightmare that night where we were caught. I can't imagine what would have happened if Ollie pulled over. The last time I ever smoked was when I was in California, which was last year, when I went to Toafest. Throughout my late teens, I was a junkie, trying out new ways of consuming drugs, and all because my friends did it, and I wanted to try it out of curiosity to make myself look cool. But if there's anything you should learn from this video, it's this. Do not try drugs at all. Listen to whatever the fuck they taught you in grade school or anything like that, because drug abuse and drug addiction is real, and it can damage you in ways that you cannot imagine. And you will not learn that shit the easy way if you continue to do shit like that. Because if you continue to do drugs, you will learn your lesson the fucking hard way. Because I sure as hell almost did. And if you or someone you know is suffering from drug abuse, please talk to someone you can trust and seek professional help as soon as you can before it's too late.